Precautions to be taken while performing a lab activity. What are the precautions to be taken? Okay. Okay. What are the precautions that you need to take care while performing any experiment? Well, your concentration should be completely on the lab activity. Okay. So watch ahead. Watch ahead means you should be aware today what experiment is going on, that experiment details you should collect it before, and how that experiment should be performed, what should be collected, beaker, test tube, what are the apparatus, how that should be added, that your concentration should be completely on that experiment to be performed. Okay, now see, you should be aware of what experiment is going on, and you should be aware of what experiment is going on, and you should be uh, mindful of that thing only, not on talking with others, not on observing the things around. Your main concentration should be on performing experiment, how that experiment should be performed, and what the experiment is related to. Next thing is beware. Sometimes you are wearing full sleeves dress. When you are wearing full sleeves dress, there may be chance that that will go and hit any other things which are on the table, and glass things may fall down. So always uh, you need to fold the sleeves. You need to fold the sleeves up. Okay, and you need to. If you have long hair, that long hair should be pushed back. If your dress has a chunni or something like that, that chunni should be tied at the back. All these things. Okay, if you are doing any experiment with acids or something like that, you should come with an apron. That apron will, if by mistake any chemicals fall on your dress, also apron will be spoiled and not your dress. So these are things that you need to be careful. Next thing is, if something fell down, something falls suddenly. It may be a glassware, it can be a chemical, as acidic chemical, basic chemical, whatever it may be. If something falls down suddenly, you should be very careful about that. If it is an acid and something fell on you, then immediately you need to apply some base. If it is a base, you should immediately wash your hands related to. Okay? If it is an acid, it can burn the hand, so you should be careful about it. You should not touch those things which are acidic. You should be far from distance, standing at a distance. Okay. If any glassware falls and it breaks into pieces, those pieces also should be careful about it. They should be cleaned off immediately. You should not keep them on the table. They should be cleaned very carefully, because glassware are very sharp. They can damage. When you are holding them, also they can damage. They can cause cuts. So that should be avoided. Right? And do not eat. Do not eat things at the lab. In the lab, we have certain things. They may be acidic, they may be basic, they may be harmful to your health, uh, they may be poisonous. Different things are there. Don't try to test everything with your tongue. What is this? Let me test. What is this? Let me test. That's not good. Don't taste anything. Okay? If there are any electric equipments, beware of that electric equipments. Electric equipment. Okay, if you are using some liquids, don't touch those electric equipment with wet hands. And if it is running in from middle of your experiment, try to separate it. You should connect it in some other direction, that it's not coming in middle of your experiment. Okay. Even you should not touch the plugs and all that are near. Okay, those things should be avoided. And what else that can be done? Clean up. Clean the things after it is done. When you have completed all your work area should be neat. Once you have completed, yeah, wash the eyes also. When you have completed, the work area should be clean. You should not spill everything and just our work is completed. It's the test tube is there itself, beaker is there itself. You did not keep clean anything. You did not put it in the racks back. Everything is there, spread here and there. It should not be like that. Everything you need, whatever you have used, test tubes, beakers, petri dishes, all that should be cleaned. From where you have taken the chemicals, they should be put back into the same racks. And then you should leave. All the work area should be always clean. Okay, and watch your eyes also. Eyes. Watch your eyes. Your eyes, they can be any danger of chemicals. Sometimes they release fumes, acidic fumes come out. Sometimes ammonia will release some gas. All these volatile chemicals will release fumes. They can be dangerous to your eyes. So you can use specs. When you are going to lab, you can use specs. That is better. When you are using dangerous chemicals. When there is a confirmation that there is no dangerous chemical, simply you are observing something through the microscope, okay, you can go. But when you are sure that there is something very dangerous, it can cause harm to your eyes, definitely use something that protects the eyes. Okay. Even nose, some of the things can be poisonous if you inhale. They can cause toxicity. At that time, you should use something around the nose also. You should protect your nose also, your eyes also at that time. Okay. So these are the precautions that should be taken while performing any experiment. Okay, children. So this is topic, children. These are the precautions to be taken. So with this, we have completed the chapter. What is science? What is science? A topic is completed till here. So what we have learned in this chapter is very important, children. You need to keep this in mind. First thing, what you have learned here is observe everything that is around you and question yourself. Questioning is a very important attitude of the science students. You need to question everything, why it is like this, what it is like this, and most of the time you should know your answers. Okay, inquire the answers. One is by teaching, by asking teachers. Second, by referring books. Or nowadays the information, everything is available in your fingertips. You can just search over Google and find out the answers. You should, your mind should arise all the questions that are around you. You should observe. When all this happens, when you observe only, there are certain things which come to your observation automatically. Okay. Like suppose there is a thunder or there is some lightning, that you need not observe, automatically it comes to your observation. But if there is some insect somewhere in the corner or something that is happening which is not easy to recognize, all those things comes out only through observation. You should be very careful, observe very keenly what is happening in the surroundings. Okay. So these things are very important, observation and questioning and answering the questions. Okay. And always understand that necessity is mother of invention. Okay. Till now, whatever is discovered, all because of necessity. We have to travel fast from steam engine to trains to fast, what we call this, uh, jet trains. After jet trains, we have invented jet planes also. All these, all this is possible because of this necessity only. We have used mobiles which are very small. Now we have everything at the tip of fingers. Why necessity? All this is because of necessity. Whatever we need, that we are focusing on. Because of that only, science is getting advanced every day. Okay. We also need to observe things around us, be keen about. As a student, it's very important for you to understand, observe the things around you, understand what is that. Simply, it don't take the lessons simply as lesson, something that is used to earn the marks. Understand it. What is the science behind it? For everything has a science behind it. Why is it working? How is it working? Try to understand those things. Okay. This curiosity which you have in your mind will help you to reach whatever you are trying to choose as your career, as your life, as your passion. That will build up only because of this curiosity towards things around you. Okay. Right. So they should be maintained constant. Okay. Now say me, what is hypothesis? Hypothesis. What is hypothesis? Assumption. Assumption. You can say it is an assumption. It, okay. Trying to find out answer to the question that is arised. Okay. This is itself termed as assumption. The first assumption. Yes, it is a possible answer that can be tested. Yes, this is also right. Possible answer that can be tested. Okay. Now say me what are process skills? Process skills. What are process skills? What are process skills? The skills used while performing the experiment. Whatever skills that you use while performing an experiment. We'll move into the next lesson, the cell, basic unit of life. Cell, basic unit of life. Okay? And like all non-living organisms, our body also is made up of atoms and molecules. Is it not? All the living organisms are made up of atoms and molecules only. Non-living organisms also, they are made up of atoms and molecules only. But there is something that is making living organisms different from non-living organisms. And what is that? The organization of a cell. Different things, atoms and molecules are organized in a cell that it is making that small structure a living component, or else that would be a non-living component. And the knowledge of this component as cell was first observed only after the discovery of microscope was done something around 350 years before uh, before this era. 350 years before, when microscope was discovered, at that time only these differences between living and non-living were identified. Okay. The main reason for the life in living organisms is organization of the cell. Cell is very nicely organized in a very systematic way, which gives life to living organism. That type of cell is absent in any dead organism or dead uh, when non-living organism. When organism is dead, that organization is lost. Okay. When any organism is dead, what happens? The processes, life processes, heart beating will stop. When heart beating will stop, there is no passage of material. So gradually all the processes occurring in one cell will stop. When those processes will stop, at that time that organism will meet death. Okay. So what is absent in living organisms is this living part, this living component which is called as cell. The organization which is called as cell is absent. Okay. And we know that the smallest organism which can live, smallest organism that can live is unicellular organism. Unicellular organism. Anything less than the S unicellular organism cannot live. Okay. Minimum one cell is required for any organism to live. Okay. Yes, very good. Pradyumna, amoeba is a unicellular organism. It is made up of only one cell, but still it is able to live. Best example you can say is virus. Virus is not a cell, not a cell. It's not made up of cell. It has components less than cell. It is made up of protein, outer layer of protein coat, and inside some DNA or RNA is present. Okay, some genetic material. Some genetic material is present. We'll discuss about this when we are discussing about cell. But here what I mean to say is, this is one component, this is one component. It is not making a cell. And that is the reason why virus cannot live outside the body. Okay. If it is present in any living organism, virus is active. If it is present outside the living organism, it is inactive. It's just a particle. Anywhere there are so many viruses in the air, in the water, they are just non-living particles. Once it enters our body, then only it turns to be a living organism. As long as it is outside in any environment, it is not living. Why? That structural organization called cell is not present. Next one. Robert Hooke, what he did is, he took the cork of oak tree. Cork means bark. Bark of oak tree he has taken. Okay, that outermost dead part he has taken. Okay, that dead part he has taken, he had made into small slices and observed under microscope. Okay, Jeevan, this, okay, right. This one topic. Let me say this one thing. Okay. When he observed that small slice under the microscope, he saw a honeycomb structure like this. Honeycomb like structure like this. This honeycomb like structure is called as, each component is called as cell by Robert Hooke. Why did he call? Because cell means little room, little room. Okay. Why we are calling jail as a cell? Because that is a little room. Same like that here also in the oak tree's bark, he has identified there are small rooms. Okay. That is why he named it as cell. Cell means, it's a Latin word which means little room. Okay. So that was the discovery of cell. Later, Anthony von Leeuwenhoek. Anthony von Leeuwenhoek observed living cells for first time. When he took some amount of pond water, he observed under the microscope, he saw tiny protozoa that were moving inside the stuck అవుతుంది ఈ డోర్ ఓపెన్ ఉంచాలేమో సార్ డోర్ క్లోజ్ చేస్తుంటే పోతుందేమో అనిపిస్తుంది Anthony von Leeuwenhoek observed the living cells for the first time. Okay. When he observed one small drop of pond water under microscope, he saw some tiny cells which were moving, and he named them as animalcules. Animalcules. Later, they were named as different organisms, microorganisms, and each one was given specific name based on structure. But the first name that was given by Anthony von Leeuwenhoek is animalcules, because there was some movement. They were moving inside the